Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm a C# and RPA developer, and I would like to show you how to do automations using our tool. So first, I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a moment. You should see my screen now, and I don't want to interrupt the entire screen, so please, here, there's one option, dock. So you can click here, and now I should be here, so you can see the whole screen. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to minimize it and turn my camera off. Okay. So those of you who haven't downloaded our software yet, please visit G1ANT.com. And click download. The manual is accessible at manual.g1ANT.com, and you can click here. The Giant add-ons section is probably the most important one during this webinar, and you can click here, Giant add-on car, and any other. And I advise you to follow the steps that I do. Follow the steps that I do and help yourself using the documentation once in a while. So I'm going to close it now. And let's do our first automation, UI automation. I'm going to open Notepad using a robot. This is our Giant Studio. So I can use program command. Let's use program command. The name of the program that we want to open, which is Notepad, of course, and then keyboard. Hello, for example, because we want to type in something in this Notepad application. So in order to launch this script, you can either click here, debug run, and as you can see, this shortcut here, F9, I'm going to use this shortcut a lot during this webinar. So let's click here, run, this time. And as you can see, hello is inserted here. Okay, now I'll show you how to do the same, but if we want to insert some sentence containing spaces, we need to add some special characters. So let's type there some sentence with spaces. Hello, my dear programmers, for example. And now I can just select this sentence and click here to insert those special characters, this triple quotes. And now I can press F9 or click this play button here to launch the script. As you can see, it's correct. Now, I want to change the font size. So how do I do it? I press Alt on my keyboard, and when I press Alt, you see that some of the letters are underlined. And I want to open format to change the font size, so I click O. Then I want to open font, so I click F. And now there's the whole menu, and I want to change the size, so I can just double press Tab, and now insert some number, for example, 30. Now I can just press Enter. As you can see, the font size is changed now. So let's do the same here, using, again, keyboard command. This time, we'll need special characters here, Alt, different from and Alt is surrounded by those special characters, triple angle brackets. It's because we want to press Alt key and not write Alt word. So this time we can just type O and F, because it doesn't make a difference if you type O or you click O, it's the same key. And then tab 2, because we pressed tab 2 times, and then we can change the font size back to 10. Then again, enter key. Okay, so I'm going to close Notepad, and let's try the script using F9, pressing F9. Okay, it's changed back to 10. Now I'm going to show you how to do the same using variables in Giant. So variables in Giant start with this special character, heart sign. So I can just click here or use a shortcut Control plus $sign. I'm going to name this variable size and initialize this variable with, for example, 30. Now I'm going to use this variable here, where I have 10, to change the font size back to 30. So let's close it, and let's launch the script by using F9 key. Great, the font size is changed again. Okay, now let's do the same. Let's change the font size multiple times. So in order to do this, we need to use a for loop. So for loop, we're gonna use a for command. We're gonna create a size variable from 10 to 90, step 20, and then end the block, and insert some tab here so that our code looks nice. And I can just remove this because the size variable is created in a for loop. It will be initialized with 10, and it will be increased by 20, and the for loop will end when size variable will reach 90. So let's try this. Let's press F9. Now it's changed to 10, then to 30. When it's 90, it's closed. It's ended. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to use procedures in Giant. So a procedure is a block of code that we can call multiple times in our robot script, and it's very, very handy for developers to manage very long, especially long scripts. So let's create a procedure. I will name it change font. And now I'm going to use this line here, just going to copy it and paste it here. In order to call this procedure, I'm going to use a call command. So this line will be called here, this block of code. So as you know, it should do the same. So let's press F9 and try it out. It works. Now I'm going to do exactly the same using parameters in a procedure. So let's add some parameter. For example, font size. Font size, the default value of font size, let it be 10, for example. And here we want to call this change font procedure. So let's use size variable. So what it means that this size variable will be used here, and this procedure, this parameter, is accessible just using font size variable. This will get value from what is called here. So this will be the same as size. So let me press F9 to launch the script again. It's the same. Okay, now I'm going to show you that when I remove this for loop, because we don't need it anymore, I can do the same. So this change font always works, this procedure, but we don't have a size variable anymore, so I can just add there, for example, 40. So I want to change font to 40. So let's press F9. And as you can see, the font size has been changed. Okay, so now I'm going to close it, and I can show you that we can change the font size back to 10 by removing this parameter in a value, because 10 is the default. So let's press F9. Yeah, it's changed back to 10. Okay, now I'm going to close it and show you what we can do else in Giant. This was UI automation. Now, what is easy, what is really handy for developers, especially those who know how to code in C#, and those developers would love the idea to use some C# snippets. So I'm going to show you how to use them here in Giant. So let me show you how to use dialog command for this time. So dialog hello, for example, and this dialog command will open dialog with some message hello. Okay, so press F9. Yeah, this is how it works. Now I'm going to use the C# snippets directly here. So instead of hello, I'm going to insert some C# code. So you can click here to insert the macro C# snippets, or you can access them by using shortcut Control plus opening round bracket. Okay, now I'm going to type something in C#. So, for example, system date time now. Let's press F9 and find what will be displayed. Okay, this is our date time. Great. Now I'm going to show you the same using variable. So I'm going to name this variable my date. My date equal to what is here, and yeah, my date. So let's press F9 and see what happens. Well, it's only date. Why the time is missing? I'm going to tell you why. So my date is a variable, and variables as in Giant, as similar to C#, are interpreted automatically as some structure. So when I click View, Variables, I can see my variable called myDate, which is of date structure, and the value is just like this. So Giant interpreted this value as date structure. So what do we do to force some other structure? Well, we can use this. Let me expand this window. Okay, let me use this special character. So let's click here. You can also access this character by using shortcut Control plus a rectangle bracket. And I can type there text if I want my date variable to be of text structure. So let's press F9 and find. And see, okay, time is finally here. Okay, so let's click here. The structure is here, text. That's what we wanted. And now I can do the same just by inserting here date time, just another structure. So let's press F9. See the value is the same, and structure is date time. Remember when I told you about the manual that you can help yourself using the documentation? You can read about all our structures, how they're different from each other, etc. But this time, that's all that I'm going to tell you about in during this webinar about structures. So if you have any questions, ask my team. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to use multi-line C# snippets, because sometimes you want to have some advanced C# macros. So let's do it. Let's insert those special characters again, and make sure to have this opening character at the separate line and this closing character at the separate line too. Okay, so now I'm going to type something in C# again. Maybe the same for my date, and make sure to not have any namespaces, any classes here, just the pure code. Okay, so for my date, system date time now, return my date to string, for example. Okay, and now I can use dialog to display what the C# snippet will return, and it will be a result special variable. So this variable will contain what the C# snippet will return. So let's try this. Let's press F9. As you can see, it's correctly, and it's of text structure. So I can show you, yeah, it's of text structure. Okay, now I'm going to show you some Excel automation. So let's close it. And now let's just remove it because we don't need this. And now I'm going to show you some folder that I have here called webinar. And I have some file called data.xlsx. So I'm going to open it and show you. So these are some records, some data, and I want to migrate those data into another newly created Excel file. So how to do this in G1ANT? Let's close it. So first, we need the path to this folder. So let's just click here, and copy it. Now come back to the script, and maybe let's declare a variable called base path equal to the path to this folder. Now we need also a path to this file. So I'm going to create a path to this file just by declaring another variable, for example, called data file path, and just by containing this base path here, I can create a path just using backslash and inserting here the name of this file, data.xlsx. Okay, we're also gonna need the path to the second file that doesn't exist for now, but we're gonna create it. So let's just copy this line here, name this file data2, and here data2 file path, because I'm going to rename this variable. Okay, so now as you know how to use procedures, I'm going to use a lot of them during this webinar. So I'm going to create a big procedure containing almost everything and other procedures, and I'm going to call this procedure migrate data. Migrate data. End procedure. Okay. Now I'm going to call this procedure migrate data. Okay, and here we're gonna have Excel commands, but in order to have some Excel commands, we need to have Excel MS Office add-on loaded. So in order to load some add-on, we need to click View, Add-ons, and here in the panel, you need to find MS Office add-on and select this. So I've selected MS Office add-on. Now I can just close this panel. And as you can see, this line is inserted. It means that MS Office add-on is loaded, so we can use Excel commands. So let's press F-tab to format the code and use Excel open command. Because first, what we need to do, we need to open this file. So let's use the path to this file, and it will open our file. Also, what we need a result argument, because we're going to operate on 2 Excel instances. This means that we need to store the ID of one Excel and operate only on the first one, then only on the second one. That's why we need this this ID. So let's create here some variable, for example, Excel ID 1, and use Excel open to open the second file, which is missing here right now, but we're going to create it later. So I'm going to open empty Excel here. So I'm not going to use the path argument. I'm going to use result argument to store the ID of this Excel instance. So let's create Excel ID 2 variable. Now, I can show you using the dialog command what is inside those variables. So let's use those characters to have some sentence with spaces, and I'll show you the first ID, Excel ID 1, and second ID, Excel ID 2. So let's run this. Let's press F9. Okay. First ID 0 and second ID 1. So that's great. And I'm going to close this folder. We don't need it anymore. Okay. Now what do we need? We need to set some values. So as we have opened Excel, we can now operate on the Excel. So let's do this. So now let's create a for loop. You already know how to do this. I'm going to this variable call row from 1 to 5. As you know, there are 5 rows and there are 6 columns. So let's close it. Okay, so the for loop will go row by row, getting values and inserting those values into another Excel instance. Okay, so let's create a procedure so that we know the main idea what we want to do. So what I like to do, I like to create empty procedures so that I know what I want to do in automation. Okay, so I'm going to have two procedures, get values and set values. So what it will do, call get values and call set values. So what this for loop will do, this for loop will go row by row, get values from one row and set values from this row to the other Excel instance. Okay, so let's do it. First, of course, those procedures will have parameters, and those parameters, there will be one parameter called row, for example, with the default value of 1, and here there will be parameter row1 also. So here I'm going to use row. So this procedure will get row number and set it here to the row variable, and this procedure will get value. Okay, so values from one row. Okay, so how to operate only on the first instance of Excel? We need to use Excel switch command. So let's use Excel switch command. ID should be this one. So let's use it here. Excel switch. That's great. And now when we're in the first Excel, we can use Excel get values. Excel get value command. Excel get value row. What row? Row got from this for loop. Then what call name? Call name A, because the first one. And result, for example, a value 1. Value 1. So I'm just going to copy this line A, B, C, D, E, F. And of course change those column names. And here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to do almost the same here. So instead of get values, I'm going to use set values commands. So let's use Excel switch, of course, at first, and use Excel ID second, right? Because we want to operate on the empty Excel right now. So let's use Excel set value command. What value do we want to set? Of course, value 1. Because this result argument, of course, will create this value 1 variable that we can access here, because all variables in Giant are global. Okay, row, of course, row variable, and call name A, and that's it. So let's copy this line and insert some of them. B, C, D, E, F. B, C, G, E, F. Instead of value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5, value 6. Okay, so now that we have all of it, we can just press F9 and see if we code it correctly. So let's press F9 to launch the script. Okay, the first Excel is opened, then the second Excel is opened. We're getting values from the first one now. So we're getting values. Okay, and now we're setting those values. Getting values, setting values, getting values, setting values. That's great. Our Excel is created, so I can just close it now. And okay, do you hear me? By the way, I don't know if there's everything okay. Hello? Do you see my screen? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Okay, so now we need to save this script. Save this file, sorry. So Excel switch, Excel ID 2, because we want to save the second one, so we need to operate on the second one. So I'm going to use Excel save command, and we want to save in the path data to file path. So I'm just going to copy this, save the second Excel to this path, and close it. So Excel close. Okay, and then Excel switch, Excel switch to the first one, Excel ID 1, and Excel close. Okay, now what will be really nice, we'll be removing this not nice looking code and use some for loop. So let's do it. So if we want to use a for loop, we need to know how to create a list in Giant so that we can, get those values and have them in a list. So let's click here, process new, and here I can show you how to create a list. So let's create some variable. Okay, here are, for example, element 1, then we need those special characters here. Element 1, element 2, and again element 3. Now let's use dialog to display the whole list. Let's press F9. Great, there's the list. Okay, let me click view variable so that you can see that it's of list structure. And now I can access the first element, for example, and lists in Giant start with 1 index equal to 1, not 0. Okay, so let's press F9 and see what happens. Yes, it's element 1. Okay, now I can just do the same and show the second element. Yes, element 2. See those spaces? Okay, and now I'll show you the second way to create a list, which is to use list create command. So list create type text, for example, because we want this list to be of text structure. List text structure. Okay, and result will create a list. For example, list variable. And now I can just use dialog list. Why is it empty? It's because this list is empty. See, the value is missing here. So let's add some element using list add command. I'm going to use list, and to add some element, for example, element 1, and dialog list, for example, first element, F9. Great, it works. We have list structure with 1 element. Okay, so now I can just close it. I've shown you how to use lists in Giant, and now I can create a for loop here. So let's do it. Let's first create a list. List create type text and result list. Not list, maybe values. Why not? And then we have an empty list called values. So we're going to use it here. So let's use for command. For, and here we can have some variable, for example, call index, and just give me a second. I'm going to explain that. From 1 to 6, we have call columns up to F. So there's 6 of them. That's why this for loop is going to end when a call index is 6. Now end for. And I haven't told you about the step argument that is missing here. The step argument is set by default to 1. So this call index will be increased by 1 by default. Okay, so I'm going to use this line here and modify it a little. So instead of call name, I'm going to use call index argument, and instead of a, of course, we need to have 1, but we don't want to have 1, we want to use this variable here. So I'm going to use this variable here. Let's copy this. Okay, and use it here. And now instead of result, The result argument creates, if we remove this, the result variable will be created. By default, the variable that will contain what this command will return will be named result. So here, what we want to do, we want to list add, use list add command, and to the list called values, want to add result. So what this command will return, we want to add to the list called values here. Okay, so now we can just remove the whole code. That's great. That's nice. And now here, I can do almost the same. So let's do it. Let's use a for command. So for call index from 1 to 6, and let's use this line. Oh yes, here. Okay, and instead of call name, let's use call index. It'll be easier. And let's just copy this, insert it here. And of course, instead of value 1, we'll have values. Remember those special brackets. And values, not 1 or 2 or any other number, but number from call index. Here. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this unnecessary code. There's less lines. That's always nice. Okay, so let's run this. Let's press F9. You can see this this green arrow here that is pointing at lines that are executing at this time. And here are some steps that are shown, that are executed this here right now. Okay, so the values are inserted correctly. You can see how fast it is. Process has finished, so we can now open folder called webinar and see that data 2 is created. So let's open it, see if there are values there. There are, so we can just close it. We can delete this file because it's not important. Close it, and now I can show you how to do the same using another add-on. So this time we were operating on Excel application, but we can operate directly on files, not on Excel, not without absolutely using the Excel application. So those of you who don't have Excel will love the idea to operate on Excel. So let me show you how to do this. Let's click View, Add-ons, and instead of MS Office, we have XLSX. So let's select this add-on. And let's close it. So this line here is inserted. XLSX add-on is loaded. So now I'm going to use XLSX commands. So XLSX open, and XLSX open command is a little bit different from Excel open command. It has different arguments, and here we need to specify the path to the second file. So let's use it here. Let's copy this. Let's use this path here, and there are some arguments here. We've used path. Path is the first argument, and you don't need to insert the first argument name. But we're going to have create if not exist argument, and we need to insert the name of this argument to use it. So create if not exist, true, because this file doesn't exist. So we need to create it using this command. Okay, now here we're also going to use XLSX switch, but XLSave we don't have the command like this. You see this this line is not bolded, is not bold, sorry. It's because this command is missing. So let's just remove this. And so note that x close command will save this x open this file. So we don't need x save because x close saves it automatically. Okay, so let's use x switch here, x close, that's okay. And here everything is the same, so let's do it. Okay, now that we have it, now we can just press F9 to launch the script. The first iteration of a loop is always a little bit slower than the second one, third one, and next. So as you can see now, it's really fast, but the first one was a little bit slower. Okay, it's operating on files. So okay, process has finished. So now we can just open Webinar and see that this file is created. See if there are some values. There are, so we can just close it. Remove this file because we don't need it. And now, as I told you how to do Excel automation, we're going to do a web automation now. So first thing, let's remove this. We don't need this script anymore. And now, as before, the first step was to create a path to a folder. So we're going to open update currency XLSX. So I have this template here, and there's some currencies, and we want to have value from GBP to USD, from GBP to UUR, EUR, AUD, etc. And the same with PLN, from PLN to USD, from PLN to UR, etc. So how to do this? We don't have those data, but we can access them from the internet, from some website. So first, let's do it. Let's get this data here and this data. So let's open a G1ANT. Okay, and the first step is always to create a path to a file. So let's open this folder, and see, when I click here and press Shift and right-click this file, I have this option here, Copy as Path, which is very friendly, nice. Okay, so I can click here. I have the path to this file, and I will call this this variable file path. We're going to have only one Excel this time. And I can just remove the double quotes because we don't need them. And again, create some big procedure. This is what I like to do automations, but you can do it as you like. You don't have to create procedures. Okay, so procedure, I'm going to call it fill Excel with online data. Okay, then I'm going to call this procedure here. Call fill Excel with online data. Okay, so what do we need first? We need USD value and GBP value. So how to get them? First, we need to open Excel. So let's use XLSX open command. And this is my personal favorite add-on. I like to operate directly on files. Okay, Do you see what I do? Hey, let's see where I need to list your screen. I see it. Okay. Okay. Just screen sharing. I don't know. I see it here, so I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, hey, do you see what I do? Can you tell me? Is there... Okay. We're seeing now. Thank you guys. Okay, I'll answer all the comments later, but now I'm just going to show you how to do some automations, some real life scenarios. This is just want to end this my presentation, and then going to be the section with questions. Okay, so let's come back to our script, and xlsx open I have here, and we need to use this file path, this variable. So okay, so we've opened it, and now what do we need to do? We need to get data from get this data and this data. So let's do it. xlsx get value row 1 call index 3. I like to use call index instead of call name, but you can do it as you like. Okay, and then result. I'm going to use this. I'm going to create a variable called toCurrency. No, sorry, from currency, because we're going to have from GBP to USD dollar. Then I'm going to have xlsx get value row 3 and call index 2 result to currency. Okay, I can you know what, I can do this. I don't have to use dialog command. I can just click here, and this this circle, the red circle means that I have a breakpoint here. So I can just close it now, close the Excel file, and see what happens. Also, I'm going to use Excel close command. So let's press F9 and see what this red dot will do. Will change in our script. Okay, as you can see, this green arrow is pointing at this line, and the script is stopped at 11, at step 11. It means that we're in a debug mode, and when I press F10 or click, hey, do you see my screen? Sorry, you don't see my pointer? Okay, so do you see my pointer? Okay, thank you, thank you guys, thank you. Okay, and that's great. So this this green arrow is pointing at this line, and it's not yet executed, but it's going to be executed when I press F10. So when I click variables, I see all of the variables that are currently here. So from currency is GBP, but we don't have toCurrency yet. So I can press F10, debug, run step. It means run step. I can just click here. And now we have this variable because this step has been executed. Now, what can I do in a debug mode? I can click here, and I can click, for example, interactive, and I can execute some line of code. For example, dialog hello. So I can just click, press enter, As you can see, the dialog here is done. I can also use an XLSX command, and instead of row 3, I can just get value from XLSX from row 4 and set it to toCurrency. I can just press enter, and as you can see, toCurrency is now EUR. So this is really helpful for debugging. I can close it, and there's more that you can do in our debugging mode. But for now, this is everything that I wanted to show you. You can also use Watch, and those of you who use Visual Studio on your day on a daily basis will know what it means, what it can. Okay, so now I can just press F9, debug, continue, and it won't stop. It will do all of the steps. Okay, now that I've shown you the debugging, we can get back to this script. So as we have from currency and to currency variables, I can show you the website that I'm going to use. So I'm going to open Google Chrome, and here in the bookmark, you see that I have X rates. So I'm going to open here, okay. And now you see that this is our today date. And when I click here, you see that this is 25th of July, it's today. And I want to get those values and set them in a today column. So I want to from GBP to US dollar, from GBP to EUR, etc. So how to do this? I have this column, I can right-click it, right-click this element, and click Inspect. Then when I do it, you see that Developer Tools is opened, and here is our value. We want to get those values, so this value. So we need to have this link here to access it. So I'm just going to copy this link. Okay, and you see that this element A, href equal to this link, and I'm going to open console and see on the browser that I'm using, and it's Chrome, how I can access this value. So you can do this multiple ways, but I like to use jQuery here. So I'm going to insert $sign here, brackets, around brackets, and A href equal to this link. And what it means that we'll get all of the elements that are that is tag name is A, and href is equal to this link. But we don't want all of the values that are there, but we wanted the first one because it will return list, not of one element. So we're going to use eq0. It's not. This is not Giant. This is jQuery, but I want to show you what it means. Okay, and text to return this value. So let's press enter. As you can see that we have from GBP to USD this value 1.248, 1.248. As you can see, it's the same. So I will copy this line, and insert it here in Giant. But first, we need to use Selenium add-on to operate on a browser to access those elements, etc. So let's I will maximize it so that you can see all the code. And now let's click View, Add-ons. Let's again, and select Selenium. Okay, now we have Selenium loaded, and we're going to use here Selenium open command and type Chrome. So we're going to open browser Chrome, and then URL, some URL I will insert it a little bit later. Now I'm going to use Selenium run script command. What it means: Selenium run script is a command that runs some script into a browser. So let's just paste it here. This. Maybe I don't have to do this, but I think it will be colored blue when I insert it in those special characters, and I like it to be blue, so I do it. Okay, so this run script, this Selenium run script command will run this script, but we want to get value, so we need to have a return keyword here. This is not JavaScript. This is our keyword. If you want to click something, you don't need to insert this return keyword. You can't. So this return keyword is here if you want to return something. Okay. So now that we have it, we need to set the URL here. So let's come back to this. Let's close the developer tools and let's copy this URL. So I'm just going to copy it and insert it here in Giant. Again, in those special characters, but you don't have to use them because as you can see, this URL doesn't have any spaces. Okay, and now when I do it, I want to use maybe not dialog, not dialog, but I want to add here some breakpoint, maybe here. So let's press F9 and see what happens. We're going to use those values a little bit later in a minute. But now I'm just going to show you what this run script will return. So okay, so it's opening the browser with this URL, and now this Selenium run script has been executed, and now we can see the result, which is 1.249. So let's come back to it, and 1.249. It's correct. Okay, so let's close it. You can see that it works. If you want to stop the debug mode, you can just click here, and now instead of from GBP to USD, those values, we can just copy this variable from currency. As you can see, it's GBP, and paste it here. So it's from currency from GBP to USD. So USD is here. To currency, it's here. And now I will create a for loop. So let's come back to our Excel. Yeah, as you can see, there are some. We've got the value from the third row, USD. Then we want a EUR and see what are the other values. So let's close it. We don't have to remember all what is the number of rows. Let's close it, and I'll show you how to do this using xlsx count rows command. So xlsx count rows and result a rows number. So this command will return a variable rows number, which will contain the number of rows. So let's create a for loop, and not here. Do you know why not here? It's because we don't want to open Selenium in a for loop. We don't want to have multiple Chrome opened. So okay, so here it has to be here. For and for row Maybe not for row. Yeah, actually, it's going to be for row. I'm going to name this variable just like this. From 1. No, not 1. Let's come back to it. I don't remember. Okay, so we want to start at the third row. Third, fourth, fifth. Okay, so the third row. So it has to be 3. From 3 to row's number. And again, step is 1 and 4. And of course, we don't want to run script from currency to currency that are constants right now. It's their values are constant. So we just want to get this line, cut it, and use it here. Because we want to get values from the third row and then from the fourth row, from the fifth row. So we're going to use a row variable here. And that's okay. From currency is currently a constant. To currency is going to change. So maybe this time I'll do it in a dialog. And dialog result. As you remember, this Selenium run script and any other commands that return something and have a result argument, they create a result variable. If this result, if there's not anything here. So if I don't specify my own name for this variable is going to be called result. Okay, so let's do it. Let's press F9. Process executed. Okay. Loading add-ons. Opening Excel. Opening Selenium. Okay, so see, is it the same? It's the same. It's okay. And now from GBP to EUR, from Euro to Euro, it's the same. Okay. And again, okay. I don't want to show you all the values, so I'm just going to press to use a shortcut Control plus F12. It means that I want to break a script. So I'm going to use Control plus F12 and OK. And as I can see, this dialog shows that the process was broken because I used this shortcut Control plus F12. So maybe I'll type it here for you so that you can remember Control plus F12. And if you want to have a comment in Giant, you can just insert a minus here so that you have it, you remember about it. This line, I don't know if you see it, but because it's light gray, in a light gray color, but you can use comments in Giant. Just a quick info. Okay, so what do we need again? So we have all those values. Okay, and now we want to set them. We want, instead of dialog result, we want to set those values into this column, into this column here, in the today column. So it's the third column. We'll start with a third row, and again, okay, so let's close it. Oh, and I haven't shown you that the row's number is 7. See, it's the same as in the Excel. Okay, so let's use XLS a set value command, value result, then row here, and then call index free. And that's it. So let's do it and try it and see if it works. So let's press F9. You can see the steps here. Getting values from Selenium. Okay, process has finished. We can just close it. And now let's open this file update currency. Okay, those values are inserted here. That's nice. We wanted that. Now I will remove them because we don't need them. So a robot will fill this column again. So we don't have to worry about. But we have the yesterday column. So let's close it and let's do this. So again, as I told you, what I like to do, I like to have the idea what I want to do. So I create empty procedures, and then when I know what I want to do, I just then a code. So let's create a procedure called, for example, fill today column. I know we've already coded here, but procedures are great. Procedure. Okay, and not only fill today column, but also fill yesterday column. Yesterday column. And another procedure, I will call it fill column, because those two procedures are going to be really similar. So I'm going to use a handy procedure fill column. Okay, and here in this procedure, I'm going to cut this for loop. So I'm going to cut it and insert it here. And now I'm going to call this procedure fill column here. Fill column and here fill column. It's going to be a little bit different, but please be patient. Okay, so if we want to fill the yesterday column, the call index shouldn't be 3. It should be 4. So this is the first different. Sorry, I'm going to just open it again. So this is the first difference. This is in the 3rd column, and we want to fill those values in the 4th column. Okay, let's just minimize it, and okay. So we want to set value. The round script is going to be the same, but the row is going to be the same still. To currency is the same, from currency is the same. Only set value is going to be different here. Yeah, but we want to have our yesterday website. So let's, sorry, not this. Okay, so we've opened this URL, right? But it's today date. If we want to open the yesterday website, we can just edit this this date. So, oh, and I forget about something. From currency should be here, right? From GBP, from currency, it's here. Okay, so let's create a procedure called build X rates link. Because once we want to have a today link and the other times yesterday link, and once in a from from GBP, from PLN, any other if there's more of the currencies. So how to do this? I'm going to use a is today true parameter here, and if is today is today date is today, then I'm going to specify the rates date to be, remember, system date time system date time now. I've already shown you what it means, so I don't have to explain it here. Okay, and else if is today is false, I'm going to set rate date to be system date time now, but add the days -1, and of course I want to create a variable here called URL, and I can just copy this this link, and here instead of this date we're going to have a rate date. But what I want to do, type here toString. We need this date to be of this format, this correct format. So let's use toString and start with YYY, which means year, minus month, minus day. So I'm just going to copy this and use it here. And now, of course, I want to end if block. I think I haven't told you about the if block. It is that easy, but remember to use AND keyword after each block that you use. So it will create rate date. Of course, we need to use it here. Okay, we need to use it here. The URL is created. That's great. So let's copy this. Let's copy this and create a link here. Of course, is today, this time it has to be true. And instead of this whole URL, I'm going to use URL variable. Okay, we have Selenium open. That's great. And again, I want to call this procedure here. So I'm going to use call fill today column. Okay, and now I want to call fill yesterday column. So I have the basic idea what I do. And now, okay, of course, we don't want to operate on this Selenium open here. We want to operate on the second URL that we build. So in this procedure, I'm going to use call build xrates link is today false, and then here I'm going to use Selenium set URL command, and I'm going to use URL variable that is built here. So is today false? So we're going to have rate date to be set to yesterday because we added days -1. So it's yesterday, and from currency it's okay. So this link is built correctly. Okay, now what is left is the fact that we're inserting those values into the column 3. We don't want to insert in the column 3. We want it to be a variable. So I'm going to use it, I call it call index. And the call index is going to be in yesterday column call index is going to be call index plus 1, because here in the today column, I'm going to have call index set to 3. So when I have in the today column, it's 3, and in the yesterday column, it's 4. And of course, the rates link is okay. So let's try this. Let's see if everything's correct. And if not everything is correct, we don't have to worry. Let's press F9. We don't have to worry because we have the debug mode, which will help us find any errors. So that's great. Okay, the process cannot access the file. That, you know why it can't access? It's because it's opened. So I can just close this file, and now robot can operate on this file. So let's press F9. Okay, and I promise this is almost the end. So when I finish this web automation, I'm going to show you triggers. Okay, let the robot do the work. Let's and see if there's everything in Excel. Okay, so as you can see, it's from GBP date 25th. Now it's from GBP date 24th. So it's yesterday, and now the robot gets value. Okay, it gets values. Okay, and process has finished. So now I'm going to close it and show you the file again. And all the values are here, so it works. Now the last step is to do it with PLN, and it's really easy. I'm just going to delete this, save it, close it. Okay, and here instead of this, I'm going to do a for loop. So for, and or maybe not for loop, sorry, while true. I'm just going to do this real quick. While I can just select the code and press tab so that it's formatted nicely. And now I can move this code to the today column, so it doesn't interrupt our so that we don't have to look at this. Okay, it's because it won't be changed. Okay, fill today column, fill yesterday column. That's great. And now what we need this from currency line. So let's just cut it and paste it here, and row 1. This is going to be always in the row 1, and call index is going to be changed. This is going to be a call index. So I'm going to initialize this call index with 1, and I'm going to show you why. Call index is going to be increased. Okay, call index is going to be increased by 2 with each iteration of a loop. Why? It's because when we're here, when we fill the yesterday column, we are in the 4th column, and we want to be in the 6th column to start again. So we need to add 1, 2. We need to add 2. We're in the 4th column, we need to be in 6th column to start again. Okay, because the call index here is 3. is 4. So call index +2, and then in the today column, the call index is already free, so we don't need this. Here it's okay, and this is going to be a never-ending loop, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to create a little of a C# snippet here, and we're going to check if this from currency, if this string from currency is blank. Because if it is, we want to save Excel. I mean close Selenium, and then not close tab, close, and then just stop the script in silent mode because we don't want to have any dialogues here. And if so, it's the if this from currency, if there's any, if there aren't any other columns, we want to stop the script. Okay, I think this is everything. Call index is correct, and the while is also correct. Okay, so let's just press F9 and see if everything's right. I think it should be everything about this web automation. About the percent change column, because you've seen it, you can do this at home if you want to. Because it's easy, you can just get a value from one column and from the today column and from the yesterday column, and then calculate the percent change. In Excel, you already know how to do this, so that should be easy. Okay, let this script just and get all the values, and we'll get to the triggers section. Okay, yesterday. And from PLN, today. And from yesterday. Okay, I'll just close it and open this file and see that all the values are here. And I don't want to show you this today, maybe next time, but if I copy this and insert it here and add some other currency, for example, not PLN but Canadian dollar, it should work the same. But we're running out of time, so I'm going to show you real quick the triggers. Let's close this this script. Open new. And now triggers. So let's do a quick automation. You open a dialog. It works, for example, and I save it. I'm going to save it under my webinar folder, and I'm going to call it schedule trigger. Oh, schedule trigger test, yeah. I will call it just like this, yes. And now I can just click here, Tools, Settings, and I have some triggers. I'll just remove this one. This is my alt trigger, hackathon. It doesn't matter. So here in the trigger section, I want to right-click it, click Add, and I have one trigger. I can name it as I want. I can name it, for example, dialog test. And then task name is going to be the as here. So I'm just going to real quick copy it as path, paste it here, and remove the double quotes at the ends. Trigger class name is going to be schedule trigger. And arguments, I can just right click and add argument cron up expression. And add value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 asterisks, and I can just click save and click OK. So as I told you about the manual, I can show you right now in the manual G1ANT.com that here when I click G1ANT add-ons, G1ANT add-on car triggers, there's some description of all the triggering, but you can just open schedule trigger, and as you can see, this is the argument that I used, and when I click this link, you see that we can know what this cron up expression will return. So this, what I inserted there, means at every minute. So this script should be executed at every minute when I click activate. And when I click activate, I can click all triggers and then refresh and unselect this trigger hackathon because it doesn't it's not needed here. Okay, let's just close it. And now we can, yeah, and now it works. So I didn't press anything. And that's it, you guys, I think. We're going to have, yeah. We're going to have a spam with dialogues in a little. Okay. So if you have any questions for me at the end, you can just ask. That's it. So do you have any questions for me? When the light is typing now. Okay. Great presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming here and listening to the whole presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cheers, Marco. Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah. Thank you. What is not working? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the compliments. Yeah. Very good English. Oh, thank you. Yes, there will be a video of the whole webinar. Okay, thank you. Thank you again for everything, for being here. Everything is recorded and we'll publish this video soon. Okay, guys, I don't know, maybe I should say goodbye. um, but if you write to hi at G1ANT.com or support at G1ANT.com, you'll get responses to all your questions. Okay, guys, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we will create a presentation like this. This was the first one, so only for the beginners, I guess. Next week, I don't know. That's great, next week. Everything for you. Okay, so guys, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for being here uh, to the end, and see you next time.